and I'm glad you joined me here today for my presentation on researching a product for the EMS classroom. And the item I chose for my classroom is therapy animals. So why therapy animals? Why would we want to bring our four-legged friends into our classroom? There are a ton of articles that I found and looked through that talked about the use of therapy animals in the classroom and what it could do. And some of the big points that I came across were helping students, reducing test anxiety. That is really, really big in EMS education. We have a lot of students that come in and maybe they were not traditional learners in high school. They were not super into reading the assignments and paying attention to lectures and performing well on tests. It just seems to be kind of a universal theme. And a lot of these students will have test anxiety when they come into our classrooms, and they're now expected to really, they're learning college level information and they're learning how to care for others, and that can get really, really stressful. So having a pet in the classroom can help to reduce that. It helps to reduce stress in anyone, not just students. So I can see where this would be highly beneficial for our kids or our adults as they come into the classroom. They promote engagement. It is very easy to get into a conversation around an animal when everybody is petting them and talking to them and the animal is super excited to see them. This helps to promote a ton of positive energy, and it can really get everybody in the right frame of mind and ready to learn. So this can also reduce a lot of negative behaviors. If you have students that are falling asleep in class or just don't seem to be focused, an animal actually can help bring that around. It can help turn that around. So reducing test anxiety, we touched on the previous slide on this a bit, but the presence of an animal can provide so much comfort. They also provide sense of safety. They help to facilitate those social interactions between students and instructors. They can be beneficial for anyone dealing with anxiety. So, reducing our stress levels. It is proven in study after study that simply placing your hand on an animal can help your body in releasing stress-reducing hormones. Oxytocin and serotonin start to flow when we are interacting and just stroking an animal's head, scratching them under the chin, and looking into those eyes. This can help lower blood pressure and heart rates, and this will overall increase the mood of your classroom, like lift it up. It helps to, again, reduce those feelings of stress, and it offers a feeling of well-being. These hormones do that. So in releasing those with the aid of an animal, you really create just a better place for students to learn. So, promoting engagement. How many times have you been out anywhere and you felt like maybe on the outside of a conversation, or you have felt like maybe you didn't belong, and you see a lot of people behaving that way, and you see a therapy animal come in, or somebody's dog walks up and all of a sudden everybody is looking at the dog, they're engaging with the dog, they're talking about the dog, everybody wants to pet the dog or the cat for that matter, and suddenly now we're all talking, we're all friends, we're on the same playing field. So these animals can help to break the ice between everyone. They provide a focus for interaction. They help reduce barriers so that everyone can come together. It just builds that rapport. They encourage everyone to be social. Dogs don't care. Cats don't care. They want you to pet them. So they want to be praised. They want to please you. And this just really increases that social atmosphere in a room. So creating that positive environment. We talked about how simply petting an animal can release the relaxation hormones that we have. So there are times in EMS that can bring fear to our students. It can bring sorrow. We send these kids or adults out for the first time into the field and they do ride-alongs, and we don't know. They don't know what they're going to encounter in a 12 or 14-hour shift. So they could come back into their next class period in a state of mind that they are not ready to learn in. They are upset. They are dealing with stuff. They are coping. And an animal can help to, in releasing those anti-stress hormones, can help get them back into a state of mind that they're actually willing to listen and that they're ready to accept instruction. So this face, I'm sorry, I just can't help it. This was kind of a sucker punch picture, but I had to throw it in here. If this face came to you and you were having a bad day and just asking for your attention, adoration, and love, how could you resist this face? This is just an example that I wanted to provide in how just seeing an animal can help to make you feel more relaxed and more at ease and ready to accept what someone is talking about. So let's talk about reducing negative behaviors in the classroom. So our kids are sleeping, maybe they're a little rambunctious, maybe they just want to sit and talk and chit chat and talk over top of you. Well, an animal in the classroom can help provide that calming presence, reducing that stress and anxiety. It really does bring around and center your students with their improved social skills and them being more awake and alert and ready to accept the education that we're giving them. We also help to encourage responsibility in our students. We boost their confidence when they have an animal that just loves them because they're who they are, because they're willing to speak to them, to pet them, all of those things. This is all win-win-win stuff here. So, as with any presentation, when we're talking about introducing something new into a classroom, we have to also consider how could these things be bad? How could bringing an animal into our classroom be a negative experience? And we have people in the world that simply are allergic to cats or dogs, where they cannot be around them, where it would actually agitate their learning experience if they were sneezing with runny eyes, or had a difficulty breathing. That is a possibility. There are certain percentage of the population that just deal with this. We could also have students that have had a negative interaction with an animal before, and so they have this fear inside of them and they don't want to interact with animals. We also have to think about the cost. So training a therapy animal from, obtaining an animal all the way up could cost anywhere from, like, on the low side, like $3,000 to $5,000, all the way up to $50,000, depending on if you are wanting to provide the training or if you're asking somebody else to train this animal. If you're insisting on a specific breed where you might have to actually purchase an animal, that gets expensive. We also have to think about vet care. There are certain breeds of animal that are maybe a little more prone to certain illnesses or ailments that could cost more. And then you could totally luck out and get an animal that is literally bred for this and has very minimal issues with cost. But, vetting an animal is more than just dealing with problems. It's also dealing with maintenance. You need flea, tick, and wormer. You need specific shots like rabies, distemper. You could also deal with, there are strains of like an influenza in animals, and you would want to make sure you treat them for that. So you could see where cost could really get in the way. You also would want to consider their diet and their well-being overall. So like cozy beds, crates if they want to take a break and not have students messing with them at that time. So those costs can also add up. But we also have to think about there are some groups in the world that truly do believe that animals are not here for us at all. They're really only supposed to be unto themselves. And there's a lot of negative connotation to having animals in the classroom, quote unquote, working. They do not believe that that is an animal's job. So you could have people in the classroom that truly do believe that, and that could also create some negativity. So I wanted to thank you for joining me here today and hearing this presentation on why I believe animals would be a great fit for the classroom. I hope you will consider looking into the possibility for yourself and even possibly looking into grants or donations to help you accomplish this, because I really do feel that this would be probably one of the best things, equipment-wise, that we could bring into our class.